Well, today we're hopefully going to finish the logs. There's not a lot left in the log pile, and what is left is all the landai, which we're not too bothered if it doesn't all fit in. We've got all, well, we will have, by the time Dan's finished those oak rounds, we'll have all the hardwood all done, which I think will pretty much finish this shed. We'll get another couple of loads just in here up to the roof, and then we can finish that job off, take the log splitter off the digger, and then we were thinking about making a start putting some of this steel frame up. We've got these holes dug, we're going to have to re-dig them. We dug them out with a drill that we had on hire, so there's like, we've dug them all out ready, but because it's been a couple of weeks since we've done it, a lot of them have filled in because we've been driving around them, but we should just be able to dig them out with the spade and maybe get some frame up before Christmas, but we'll see. We really want to get on fixing that spreader, but really we haven't had a decent amount of dry weather to be able to work on it outside. It's just not very exciting to do while it's pouring down the rain all the time, and we haven't really got a shed big enough to put it in where we've got power to run all the welder and stuff, so that's our excuses. Dan's done a bit of work on the baler today, so he's making a bit of progress with that. He's altered the gate that we need. Hang on. Here, this gate, Dan's made it smaller, so he's missed a bit of weld there. He's cut the end off it and made it, because I think it was an 18-foot gate we picked it up cheap in a sale, and we've shortened it down to a oh, I can't remember how big it is, but it's made to size now to fit in the pole barn. So we've got 2 gates ready to go, we've got 2 panels on the way. We've just got to figure out the feed barriers. We might have to just extend one of the 15-foot feed barriers we've got to fit in. So yeah, we're just trying to get a little bit done, stop coming up with excuses. So yeah, hopefully the logs will be done, and then tomorrow we can start something a bit different. So today's Sunday the 22nd, I think, of December. Dan's been working in here the last couple of days. He's taken this, camera won't pick it up, this clutch pack, which is the slip clutch. Can't really see it because it's too dark. Down there is the slip clutch for the pickup tines, pickup reel, and he's taken it apart because it seems to be slipping way more than it should do. And the way it works is that these things, my camera's not great, they sit in a groove, and then obviously they're on a spring, or I think there's 2 springs, but as they wear sometimes they wear out, sometimes the springs go, and then obviously they don't sit tight in the groove, which means the pickup reel slips more than it should do. So he's been through and I think he's put a whole new set of springs and fingers in. He's fixed this pickup. This bar was snapped in the middle here somewhere, or one of them was, can't remember which one it was. So he's had to take this whole bar off, weld it all up properly, and then I think he's just in the process of putting the rings back on. We broke 2 or 3 of these the last time we were trying to bale silage, so we've got, we've got 3 or 4 new ones, so hopefully it'll be all raring, ready to go by the time he's he's taken this off. This is the auto lubing system that's on the old 200 baler that we got from Ireland. Nothing about that baler is any good apart from this auto lubing thing seemed to be working great. And what it does, it's got these pipes with like a brush on, and they just brush on the chains. Then obviously you've got, oh, I don't know, I think there's plenty enough outlets and pipes for all of the chains, especially all the chains on this side. So Dan was thinking about trying to fit it to this baler, but he's just not sure whereabouts to put it yet, because there isn't as much room behind the panel on this baler as there was on the older one. So yeah, it's a really windy day. Don't know why my camera's so blurry. Really windy day today. The sheets come off the straw again. So I'm just thinking about maybe trying to get some of that straw put in the shed, because I'm just getting sick of having to put that sheet back on, and I don't think the sheet's really working anyway. So that's maybe what I'm going to have a go doing now. We finally finished the logs, so that's one job done. We're just having a go moving some of these bales. The sheet keeps blowing off in this strong wind, so we've got a bit of room in the shed up in the top yard, so I'm going to put some up there, and then Dan's just gone to fetch a trailer, and we'll put some in the calf shed. See if we can get most of them under cover, save them getting spoiled. Well, it's Boxing Day today, and we're just collecting eggs. About to go for a walk and some more food after all the food we ate yesterday, but the jobs continue. We still got to collect the eggs. Didn't sell very many on Christmas Day. I don't think we sold a couple in the honesty box, but maybe more than last year. So it's very foggy. It's the temperatures up and down and up and down. We haven't actually had any rain for a couple of days, I think. It's, you know, the puddles have dried up, which is quite nice. It's great on the sheep, because the sheep that are through there in that field are almost definitely pretty short on grass. I've had a look at them from over the fence. I haven't walked around the field, but the fact that it stayed dry will be really helping, because it'll make the grass last a lot longer. But they're going to need moving this week, so I'm going to have to take them a bit further afield, I think. I'm not quite sure where yet, but or we might bring them back here and let them just graze this for a day and get them weighed and see if there's any that are fit to sell, and then take whatever's left somewhere else. So that's the plan. Anyway, we'll get on with these jobs and go for a Boxing Day walk. Dan's just going to stick a straw bale in here. We've got a couple of top bales to get rid of that were in the stack that was down there in the yard. We put one in here on Christmas Day, I think, and it was one of the ones that had been on the top of the stack with the sheet on it, and it was near enough completely rotten. So yeah, definitely that sheet is definitely no use. So we're going to have to try and get our barn put up for stacking bales in next year. So yeah, we're just going to put a bale in here. These will be alright till tomorrow, these ones. But what a foggy, muggy day. It's just damp, everything's dripping. It's just foggy, humid, horrible weather for cattle. I don't think they're enjoying it at all. So I'll be glad when this spell of weather's over. The only good thing about it is it's dry. We've not actually had much rain in the last week or two. So probably should be out spreading muck. Dan's just extending this feed barrier that's we're hopefully going to use in the pole barn. It was 2 foot short, so he's cut the straight flat edge that's on the ends off, extending it, welded it back on. And then we've got these tubes which are from the gate that we shortened the other day, which is for the same pen. And then we decided, instead of trying to bolt them directly onto the posts, we're going to put them on hinges. So we'll put these hinges through the post, and then put a hinge. Probably have to drill those holes out to 20mm and put a hinge on them. Is that tube actually thicker than that?
Yeah, slightly. Yeah. This is 50mm pop tube. Is that some 45?
So the last three are all going to be that size?
Yeah.
I think that's plenty.
Just the last two.
Well, that's 3 gaps.
That's 3 gaps.
I think that's plenty big enough, isn't it,
Yeah.
for young stock?
Yeah.
These are 300mm, so I don't know, I'm not in the know, but I think 300mm is about as big as you get for cows. Maybe you go slightly bigger for bulls, but I would have thought young stock could go a bit smaller than that. And this shed is only going to have probably between sort of 6-month and 12-month-old cattle in generally, so should be fine. Right, it's Sunday. Right, it's Sunday, the 29th of December. For the afternoon, see some of his friends, so just pottering about. I was going to go and tip a load of muck off. This tyre keeps going down. I think Dan says it's got a tube in it, because at the time when we put these tyres on, we didn't have any valves, so we couldn't run them tubeless. So Dan's idea is to just take the tube out and put the valve in and see whether it will seal. If not, I'll have to fix the tube and put the tube back in. But my portable air compressor is broken for some reason, so I can't even bring that up to put a bit of air in it. So I'm just going to have to nurse it down to the workshop and try and take it off and fix it. So yeah, it's just one of them jobs. You keep blowing it up, but it's just false economy, isn't it? To get it fixed, and then it'll be one less thing to worry about. I just hope I don't knacker the tyre getting it down here. It should be okay. There's not a lot of weight on the front because I've got quite a heavy load of muck on the back. Need to clean my windows. This is the camera that I've been trying to use. This is my old GoPro, which has got a smashed screen on it. Generally it has been working alright. I think I've managed to film the last video with it, but I've just tried to turn it on now and it won't turn on, so I think it might have a flat battery. It's nowhere near as good as the other camera I had, which I've lost, and I can't remember the make of it now. That's going to annoy me, but the slightly more expensive version of this is way better than a GoPro. When it's working, it's fine. They're just very temperamental. Right, we should be close enough to the airline now. Get that pumped up. Well, I won't pump it up. I'll jack it up and then take it off, I think. Well, my battery's just woken up. So, didn't film it, but I have just got the tube out. And I've blown the tube up, but I can't find a single hole on it, and it seems to be staying up, so I've absolutely no idea why it's been going down, unless it's the valve. This is the conclusion I come to quite often with tyres. It's like I very often can't find a puncture, and so I have to assume it's the valve. Anyway, I'm going to try it tubeless. So, because I think the other one's tubeless, and the chap who we bought the tyres off never mentioned that there was any holes in them. So, I'm just gonna see how it happens. I'll go and get a valve and put it on, and fingers crossed. Well, it's dark now, but I finally got the wheel back on. Seems to have blown up without a tube in it, so we'll see whether it holds there or not. I can't hear anything leaking, but hopefully that'll fix the problem. But what a day, it's gone. The day's gone already. But then again, we're past the shortest day now, aren't we? So every day it'll start getting longer, which is in a way a little bit daunting, because I don't think we're even halfway through our winter jobs yet. We had big plans for this winter, and the whole winter's just disappeared from one reason or another, but there you are. Right, I'm going to go and tip this load of muck. And then I don't know, it might be getting a bit late to be starting any more jobs. This is barley, I think, and this is grass. So we're thinking of bringing the sheep here, so we're going to set up some fences on this piece. I can't remember how many acres it is now. 12 acres? It goes right down to that brook, along the brook, and then I think it comes up the edge of that barley field, if it is barley. That might be wheat. Maybe that's barley over there. Don't know. I should know, but I don't. So we're going to see how much we've got. Decent amount of posts, decent amount of wire. So I think we'll start off with 2 strands and try and go all the way around with 2, and then if we've got enough, we'll put a 3rd one on afterwards. See how we get on. Well, we've made it down to the first corner. We've got all the way down here. We've only used about half a roll, or maybe just over half a roll, maybe just over actually. So it's going well. Quite a nice sunset today. Today's the Monday, it's the day before New Year's Eve. So anyway, we'll put a post there, post here, and then it should be straight all the way to the end, and I'm thinking it should be straight all the way to that end, and then straight run all the way up. So quite nice actually. We don't very often ever have to fence a whole complete field. Normally in my fields and the winter grazing that we normally go to, we just have to fence the odd fence line on a boundary, or just the occasional field that's got one side not fenced. But so we don't normally have enough wire and reelers to go around a whole field, but over the years you do tend to collect more and more. Well, we've run out of the first 2 reelers have run out, but we've got quite a way round. We've only got to go up here and across, which these 2 reelers might do. So quite surprised actually. So we should, in theory, have enough to go round again with a 3rd strand, just to be safe. And the sun's still not gone. Well, all done. Gone all the way around. Annoyingly, this reeler ran out just over here somewhere, so we had to just cut a piece off another reeler. So we used 2 full reelers on the top, but the first one ended in a different place, which was a bit annoying, but we've got plenty of posts, so amazingly we didn't run out of posts. We didn't even need to use the spare ones. We had a new pack in the Land Rover, but we didn't need it. So jobs are good, and we'll just have to come back with some sheep and some tickers. But it's nice to have a bit of dry ground to go to ride round. We just got one of the hen sheds has run out. So I'll take 3/4 of a ton down there. We've just got back and we've done a bit of clearing out, scraped the cattle out and put some straw in. You spend half the day working in the dark, don't you, these days, I find. Oh, that bin's empty. I mean, you can see the window, it's just run empty. That's alright, because there's a lorry coming in 2 days. So it's now the 2nd of January, so we've come to the end of the December video. I was hoping to finish the video yesterday, but it got too dark on me. Got a bit carried away doing a bit of pressure washing. I've had a bit of a go in the yard up there. Just got the hen food deliveries turned up this morning, which we desperately needed because we seem to be running a bit short. The cold weather causes the hens to eat a little bit more, and they're all, to be fair to them, they're all laying pretty well now, so we're getting through a lot of food. But yeah, we had I did a bit of pressure washing. I washed my trailer out yesterday because we've moved the sheep, so I decided to give the trailer a good wash, and then I carried on and tidied up the yard a bit. Just makes a bit of a surprising how much difference it makes, how kind of depressing it gets when you're just slopping around in mud all around the yard, and every time someone comes round and gets out of the car they get caked in mud all over their shoes. And so I just had a bit of a wash up. These guys are near enough wean now. I'll just check the computer. I think there's only a handful of them that are still on a tiny little bit of milk. So we soon need to have a bit of a reshuffle of these cattle. We need to sell a couple, move some up into the top yard. This bunch now, which will be 6-7 months old, are eating a decent amount of silage. They're still getting barley. The way I seem to be going is, my cattle, once they're off milk, they obviously get a lot of corn, and then they go on to barley, and then they're near enough on ad lib barley until they get to the point where they're about 5 months old, when I start reducing the barley. By that time I've got them on hay, and then I give them silage, and then once they start getting silage I reduce the barley even more, because once they've got to about 6 months old they're just growing really. There's no point, I don't think there's any point. You can keep giving them loads of barley, but I don't know whether it's cost effective to give them as much, because they tend to get fat early when they don't need to put that fat on. All they need to grow is a little bit of barley and some decent silage. But I'm feeding all the worst silage I've got this, I don't know why, but I always like to get rid of the worst silage, i.e. like the late cut, third cut stuff, fourth cut silage first, so it's all out of the way, and then if I do end up with some to carry over to next year, at least it's really good quality stuff. Or if I end up with a surplus, which I almost definitely will this year, I've got quality product to sell, which I hopefully get decent money for, rather than trying to sell rubbish. But it does mean you end up having to feed all your rubbish yourself, which I don't know whether that's the right thing to do or not. But so at the moment I'm basically using all the bales that me and Dan baled, so it was all third, fourth cut stuff, and a lot of it was, we were just snatching fields where we could get them, and they weren't exactly, dry, tedded out silage. It was a case of, we had a window of a day to get on and bale it, so we had to do it. So yeah, we're getting through a bit of straw at the moment because we're feeding wetter silage, but they seem to be eating it all right. It's made all right, it's kept all right. So yeah, so this bunch now are well ready to go up into the top yard, and then once they get to like the final pen or the final 2 pens before they're ready to go, we don't finish them, we just take them up to like 18 months at the moment, well 18 to 21 months. But once they get into the end pen, so when they're the next lot to go, I do try to give them a bit more barley just to put a bit of flesh on them, because they do sell better as stores if they're fleshed, obviously. I don't try and fatten them because I think I'd need to be probably giving them twice as much barley as what I'm giving them if I was to fatten them, which I would quite like to do one day, but I think I want to be growing my own barley, because it's just going and collecting it from where I'm collecting it is can be quite time consuming, and I haven't got the facilities to buy it in bulk and mill it myself. I had bought a bin. I've bought 2 bins from an auction. I bought a 20, I can't remember, it was a 24 ton bin or a 28 ton bin, which was ready to collect, but it blew over in the storm and has got destroyed. It's all bent and buckled, so I presume it's been scrapped, and I don't think I've got my money back. And I bought a 12 ton bin which is stood somewhere an hour or so away from here. Me and Dan have been and looked at it. I don't know whether I've included it in my video, whether I filmed any of that, but we went and had a look at it, and it's not in bad nick. It's a fair bit older than the bin we've got, and the spout and everything, the chute needs a bit of work, but the bin itself is in pretty good nick, and the frame is all good, and it's a very high reach bin, so you can drive like a trailer underneath it, a feeder wagon. But it's very, the way it's situated is right in between a big shed and a telephone telephone wire. So it's just, and it's right next to a road, so it's just one of them that you need a big telehandler really to lower it down, and then you probably need 2 different trailers to bring it home, because I think the bin would have to be split from the frame to be able to fit on a trailer because it's so high and so long. But anyway, the plan was to get them back here in place so that we could store raw materials like barley, or even just buy in like a beef nut. But so yeah, we've had quite a good, there's been good and bad parts this year, but on the whole we've made a lot of progress. So we obviously started doing our own baling, which was a big jump for us. Dan's obviously been around quite a lot after this, well, from sort of midsummer onwards, which has been a great help. Obviously trying to bale, do your own mowing, raking, tedding, baling and wrapping and bale carting all yourself with one person is not really feasible, especially in our climate. We get such narrow weather windows, but with 2 people it's certainly not a bad idea. Nice tidy yard. Just put the wheel back on this because we're going to move it a bit closer to the workshop. Dan's just put a bit of weight on it while it was chopped up on the back. We had blocks of wood under there. Before we put the wheel on, he pushed down a bit on the axle, and there's quite a bit of flex in where it's all broken and rotten. So hopefully we should be able to. We were kind of thinking that it wouldn't move when we put weight on it, because we didn't think we'd have enough weight, but it definitely did flex, which is one, a little bit worrying that it's so weak and we've been using it up till now. But 2, got good in the way that we should be able to get it nice and straight when we weld it up. Oh yeah, when he dropped the weight, then the crack in between the sidewall and the chassis got smaller, so yeah, it definitely wants straightening up, I think, before we weld it all up. So I think we're going to just hook it to a tractor and park it here where we've cleaned in front of the workshop, so that we can just reach it with the welder. We haven't got a lorry coming for feed now for 2 weeks, so it doesn't matter if it's in the way, but hopefully we'll have it done before then. Dan's got this cleaned up, and there's a fair bit of damage. There's a big void underneath. This is obviously all been flexing. This axle's been moving up and down quite a lot as it's been travelling, and there's not a lot left. Doesn't look a lot of metal left. Obviously it'll all have to be welded up, but it needs to be covered in plate, and there's a big void underneath, so Dan's thinking it wants something to come from here up here, either a big bit of plate or a bit of angle. But once it's welded up, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then we've got to set to work with the bed inside there and this bit of wall which goes all the way along right back to this weld, really. So, but this is the worst bit. I don't think it's as bad the other side, but it's kind of a good job that we spotted this. It's a good job that Dan knocked the valve off the tyre when he did, because if we hadn't took the wheel off, we'd have never have spotted this, and it could have ended up a lot worse, couldn't it? Over time it could have got a lot worse, to the point of being a lot more difficult to repair. So it's a good job we've caught it. But I'm hoping the other side is nowhere near as bad. It doesn't look like it from the inside. You can't actually see any damage on that side. There's no holes, unless I might have already welded some of them up. And we've got some holes in the floor to weld up as well. Well, I'm just off down to go and get some car food, because I've run out of car food. Check the sheep while I'm there, and I'm going to take this creek feeder and see if we can find some oats or wheat or something I can buy from the farm where the sheep are, and just just try and get them a bit finished off and put a bit of flesh on them so that I can sell them, because I don't really want to have to take them to another piece of grass after they've been where they are. So Christ, we've got some water flowing now, but yeah, this is my rented ground. The creek feeder's been sat here for about 2 years because I've not been using it. Don't really like feeding lambs. I mean, the main purpose of me buying them is to make use of grass that I can't silage. So feeding them seems kind of counterproductive, but they're just not going to fatten on grass, not with this weather. I was kind of hoping that this new year would bring in some better weather. We had a nice day yesterday. We had a frost in the morning, but back to solid heavy rain again today. So there's no way sheep will finish on grass when it's wet like this. So they might have to have a bit of I don't know, wheat maybe, or oats, maybe with some beans mixed in. We'll see. Anyway, back in my package shed now. It's the end of the day. These are some of the lovely pullet eggs we're getting from the new hens that came, our youngest hens. So this is what we're getting. We're getting about that many smalls at the moment, and they're all mediums, and I think we're getting around about 1 tray of large. So they're coming really well. They're a really nice coloured egg for a Lohman. These are Lohmans supposedly. And Lohmans do tend to start off with a really nice coloured shell, but they tend to get paler and paler as they go through, whereas what we've noticed with the Boven Browns, which are the oldest flock we've got, they seem to start off nice and brown and they stay nice and brown, but they don't seem to be the healthiest hens in the world. They've lost a lot of feathers. There's pros and cons to every breed of laying hen, I think, and you've just got to find the right balance for you. I think everyone really is after a slightly different thing from their hens, and everyone's system will suit a different breed. I think our system really suits Highlines. Highlines seem to be my favourite, but which we've got. I think the next flock we're getting are a Highline, and we've got at least 1 flock. Yeah, the second shed are a Highline. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to spend the evening in here. I've got to try and edit this video now and end the video. So yeah, I did try to end it a couple of times, but my camera keeps breaking and not recording it. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. It's the end of the year, last video of the year. So yeah, hopefully I'll keep making them. I need to probably come up with a decent camera solution, because it's not really any good using my phone. The sound quality, as you've noticed in this video, is horrendous, and my camera is completely unreliable because it keeps turning off. So I think I'm gonna have to do something about the camera situation, but anyway, onwards and upwards. Let's have a nice dry year, please. The forecast doesn't look too bad, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one for January.